Hello. Today's the day. The Bear just came out, season 3. I'm excited. I'm already speaking so fast. I'm already feeling crazy. Now you know you're about to be in for the next however long this video is. I feel like this might be a long one.
Hey, how y'all doing?
So for this video, I'm watching all of season 3 of The Bear for you guys and for myself because obviously I love that show with my full heart. I love her. I love everything about the show, quite literally everything about this show. Watching season 3 of The Bear, I'm doing it episode by episode. So basically I'm gonna watch one episode, come back and talk to you guys about it, watch the next episode, come back to talk to you guys about it. I was kind of debating how I wanted to do this video, like if I wanted to just watch the whole season, then like do a whole sit down video talking about it. But then I was like, I kind of want to just do an episode by episode kind of reaction vibe because I don't know, I just feel like it feels a bit more fun. Also, I can get more in depth with each episode since I'm doing it one by one. And I also kind of want to take my time watching The Bear as well, which is like the first time I think I'll ever say that for a show that is fully being given to me in one sitting. Like a show that they're telling you, hey, here's all 10 episodes, go binge if you want. For the first time ever, I'm literally like, you know what? I think I want to take my time with her and maybe watch like an episode a day, episode or two a day, every other day. I don't know. I kind of want to take my time with this one. I really want to like savor each episode because I know each episode is going to be like a whole movie kind of a vibe in and of itself. Like that's just The Bear for you. Every episode is just so important. Like it's not really a binge show. Like I feel like it is a show that you should take your time watching. I don't know, after like rewatching season 1 and season 2 like these past few months, specifically for my edebiri video, go watch that if you want. I love that video. Watching her entire filmography, what a fun time that was. But yeah, after rewatching The Bear because of that video, for that video, whatever, it really made me think like, wow, this is a show that you kind of like should take your time watching. And that was after I had already seen both season 1 and season 2. So like watching it for the second time, it was like, oh yeah, this should have been like, I should have taken my time the first time I watched it, I feel like, because it is a kind of show where you should just be like digesting what's going on, not really like bouncing. But then at the end of the day, like you do you. If you want to binge everything, it's here for you for a reason. Like they gave you all 10 episodes for a reason. Like freaking binge if you want. Do what you want to do. I've been there before. I will probably be there again. But for this time, I want to take my time, 1 episode a day, 1 or 2 episodes a day, drag it out for a week, have a good time. So yeah, this video might be coming out a lot later than what today is, which is literally the day it dropped. So June 26th, tis June 26th. And we'll see when this video comes out. I hope it's a fun time for us all. Anyway, we're watching episode 1 right now. As you can kind of see, I'm ready to tap in, putting on my big screen setup on my laptop because I have to, because I just have to, simply because I have to. I'm simply too seated. Insert that picture here. But yeah, I'll see you guys after I watch this first episode of The Bear. Let's freaking go, baby. Bye for now.
Dad, can you help me sell my car? Dad, we're remodeling the house. Dad, my son won the championship. Dad, I had a panic attack today. Dad, you want to go on another fishing trip? Dad, you want to go golfing? Dad, you there? Dad, can you hear me? Hey, Dad, do you believe in God?
Hello, and now we're back. Fun fact, my Wi-Fi went out during like the last, it was like 3 minutes of the episode, so I had to finish it on my phone. And also that means that the decision has been made for me and I will not be watching episode 2 tonight. I will in fact be going to sleep. But right now, let's just talk about episode 1, baby. I have a fair amount of notes. That's why I have my computer here. As per usual, you should know this if you've been around here for a while. So let's just jump right in to episode 1 called Tomorrow. The first 2 things I need to say is, 1, the editor ate so down in this episode. Where's your Emmy? Where's your Oscar? Like literally the editor was so good. And then 2, the cinematography was also so perfect in this episode. And honestly, overall, like always the cinematography is eating down in the show, so like I'm not even surprised. Like the cinematography in the show is always just such a masterpiece. And to say different, like you are absolutely crazy. Like to say different, like you are insane. I'm sorry, but cinematography in the show is perfect, always and forever and always. Thank you. Next, okay, so I feel like I can kind of talk about this first episode in more of like an overall sense because of like the way it was done and like what happened in it. So basically we're kind of moving all over the place in this episode, which at first felt very overwhelming and confusing. And I'm literally going to read like the first few notes that I wrote down during like that first 5-ish minutes. Here it is. What's going on? Question mark. They're all in Denmark? Question mark. Claire? Question mark. Are we at that TM Thanksgiving again? Question mark. And then after those notes, it hit me, oh, we're in a flashback mode right now. Okay, got it. Because I was genuinely like, what's going on? Will Poulter's working at the restaurant now? Where are we? I was very, very confused. And then it hit me, okay, we're flashbacking. So yeah, we were truly just jumping all around in this first episode, past, present, future. I don't know. I didn't know what time frame we were in at most points. Maybe it was the future, maybe it was the past. I didn't know what was going on. But at the same time, I liked it, and at the same time, I loved it. It was interesting and different and fun. Not necessarily fun. Well, it got fun because I was confused. And I will once again say that the editor was doing crazy, sexy, cool things throughout this whole episode. Props to you. You're awesome. And since in this episode we're seeing a lot of like past things that happen, we're also like filling in a lot of the blanks of stuff that we had heard happened in past seasons, but we never saw actually happen. So yeah, it was like kind of cool, like filling in those little blanks of like stuff we knew happened but didn't like see happen. And I wrote some down in my notes. Let me like read those off really fast. The dynamic between Carmi and Will Poulter's character, whose name I'm like forgetting right now, but their dynamic when they worked in the restaurant, like we had heard about that from Will Poulter's character during that Marcus episode last season, but we never saw it. So like actually seeing it, that was cool. And then Carmi's time in Copenhagen, Carmi missing Mikey's funeral, and then Sid eating at Carmi's restaurant, like what she talked about in season 1 with Marcus. She's like, oh, I went on a whole like little tour after culinary school, like going all to the best restaurants, and the best restaurant I went to was Carmi's restaurant, and we got to see her eat there. That was really cool. Overall, it was just such a quiet first episode, and I really loved this beginning. I don't know, it kind of just felt like we were just like catching up with our guys, like slowly catching up with our guys, instead of like just jumping right into like post what happened that first night at the restaurant, or skipping a couple weeks, like we're just jumping into like a whole new plot line or whatever. Like we were just like slowly catching on, like kind of like picking up where we left off, but like still like slowly doing it. You know, it was very slow and subtle, and I liked it. And I could also see why people would not like it, but personally, I didn't mind it. And honestly, that makes me even more like certain in my decision to kind of take it slow watching this season, because of the way this episode was, and because I feel like there's just something about the Bear episodes that feel as if you should like sit with it for a beat or two after, instead of like immediately jumping into another one. You know what I mean? Maybe I don't make sense, but it makes sense in my brain, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. And then this is just kind of like a random note that I had, but season 2 and season 1 had such like chaotic beginnings to like their first episodes, and I feel like this one having such like a slow and subtle and like more calmer beginning is like very purposeful and means a lot. And maybe I'm just making something out of nothing, or maybe I'm kind of onto something. I don't know. We'll see as we keep watching. That's why this is fun, like reacting and talking about it and then going to the next episode, because I don't know what's going on right now. We'll see, man. We'll see. And I just want to say, like, I am not a professional film bro. I'm not a professional film critic. Like, I'm just a girl that likes watching movies and TV shows. At the end of the day, if I'm saying something that maybe doesn't make sense, or maybe sounds stupid, or maybe sounds like so obvious, like, haha, the cinematography is so good in the show, obviously it's so good in the show, whatever, like, if it sounds like that, I'm just a girl. I'm literally just a girl at the end of the day. Like, this is not serious. I'm just having fun. So if you're taking this serious, don't take it serious. I don't know. That's all I have to say though. Whatever. Anyway, and now here are some quick tidbit moments that I want to like talk about that happened in this episode, because I just want to briefly talk about them for funsies. I don't know. So the first Sid moment on my screen, I did in fact scream and awooga at the screen. I don't care. I'm not embarrassed to admit it. I love her. I love her. I love her. Edebiri, people's princess. My princess, my girl, forever and always, I love you. And then even though in that scene, like, she literally looked so sad and also did not say any words in that first little moment, I don't care. Sydney's my girl through and through. I will scream and I will awooga. I'm not embarrassed to say it. And then the next thing I want to say, the first Sid Carmi scene, awooga again. My platonic soulmates, forever and always. I love them. I think I should reiterate, I don't know, I talked about it a lot in my Edebiri filmography video, but I will once again say, I don't care what they do with these two characters. I don't care if they want to make them romantic. I don't care if they want to keep them as friends, because at the end of the day, I know that they are soulmates. Like, they are meant to be in each other's lives forever and for always. They are going to be in each other's lives, so I don't care if they decide to do it romantic or if they just decide to keep it friendship. I just know that these two people are going to be in each other's lives forever. They are soulmates, and whether they want to make that romantic or whether they want to keep that platonic, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. They're just going to be each other's lives forever. At the end of the day, that's all that matters to me. Thank you. Final two tidbits that I want to talk about really fast. Carmi's voicemail to Ritchie, loved it. And then Sid's voicemail to Marcus, love, also loved it. Thank you. And that's that of me talking about the first episode of season 3 of The Bear. I will see you when I watch episode 2 tomorrow. Probably, maybe, hopefully. So yeah, see you after I watch episode 2 of The Bear season 3. How many times am I gonna say that? Until it sticks. Thank you. Bye. Hello, it's a brand new day. I'm reporting to you from a hotel room right now because I'm also currently on vacation. But the grind never stops. I just watched episode 2 of The Bear. Let's freaking talk about it, baby. Let's just jump right in. Don't mind the hair. It's been a long freaking travel day of just doing things, so let's not talk about it too much. Okay, sorry if there's sound. Oh my gosh, wait. I just turned on the heat because it was like literally freezing in here. Let me turn that off. I feel bad now. Okay. Okay, the heat just turned off. Now let's jump into episode 2. Here we go. So we start with the Sid opening scene, and I adore Sid opening scene, so immediately this episode became 5 stars for me. I love the dynamic between Sid and her dad, and I will not be explaining it further. It's just, I love it, and I'm not gonna explain further on why I do. It speaks for itself. Anyway though, overall this episode was very like one take, one scene kind of a vibe, one shot kind of a vibe, which I loved, and it honestly made it very, very, very chaotic, but in a good way. And it was honestly kind of slightly reminiscent of the infamous episode 7, I believe it was episode 7 from season 1, that chaotic mess, craziness of an episode that stresses me out, gives me so much anxious, anxiety, nervousness. It's just that episode, all I feel is pain when I think about that episode. Yeah, I don't even want to talk about it further, but yeah, this one kind of gave the same vibe as that, because I know that episode was like a one shot, one take, everything kind of happening all at once kind of vibe, and this episode also had that vibe, except for the fact that in this episode it was a little more like there was a lot of chaotic mess going on, but there wasn't a lot of like high stakes craziness that episode 7 had, you know what I mean? There wasn't like we're racing to the clock to do all these to-go orders because we messed up and now we have to like feed up 10,000 people when we only have enough food for like 100 or whatever. There wasn't like high stakes craziness like that in this episode, but it was still chaotic, and because there was no craziness like that in this episode, I actually really, really liked it, and I want to watch it like a bunch more times because there was just so much going on, and I know there was like some little things, like little funny moments, little one-liners from someone somewhere because everybody was just like in the kitchen. I just know there's like some little things that I like probably missed, like a little one-liner or something, so I would love to like rewatch this episode a couple times so I kind of pick up on little things that I missed, because so much was happening, everybody was talking fast, people were hating each other, blah 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 blah. And yeah, here are some random specific moments that felt very important, and I kind of want to talk about them really fast. First, Carmi is definitely giving the vibe that he's trying to like overcompensate for like being locked in the fridge during opening night, and for also feeling like he's been like wasting his time and like not giving his all to the restaurant. Like he's definitely trying to overcompensate by now making this like whole non-negotiables thing, and now being like so obsessed with him like getting a star now, even though like Sid wanted a star and he was like it's not worth it, like who cares, like it's a trap. And now he's like, you know what, like let's get a star. And I feel like he's just trying to overcompensate for the fact that he felt like he wasn't there when like he was there. You just had a relationship with her. The balance was definitely kind of off in some ways, because it's like we're about to open this restaurant and you are kind of like giving your all to this relationship right now, and it's like, wait, but like we're opening a restaurant, we kind of need to be like all hands on deck, like we kind of need to be laser focused on this. But like now he's doing the extreme, like we need to find a nice balance. Like we went from the lowest to going to like the extreme, and it's like let's just find a nice little balance. And I feel like it's carmen freaking berzatto, like we have to go to the extreme first, and then he'll slowly, like Sydney will slowly pull him to the middle, or maybe even Ritchie. I don't know, their dynamic in this episode, hilarious, awesome. They hate each other, they love each other. Now that's an enemies to lovers story. I'm sorry. I feel like somebody's gonna pull Carmi away from this like extreme, and maybe it'll be Sid, maybe it'll be Ritchie, Sugar. But then I'm like, okay, but who would he listen to? Honestly, out of everyone, he might listen to Marcus if Marcus was like, hey, maybe let's calm down a bit. I think he would listen to Marcus, solely for the third moment that I want to talk about, which was that end moment with Marcus where he is like fully behind like these non-negotiables and fully behind like what Carmi's trying to do to make the restaurant succeed, because he wants it to succeed, and like he knows that like he's meant to be there because of like what happened with his mom, and like how he's completely okay with the fact that like, you know, when she passed away, he was like working in the restaurant, like I think it was like literally opening night, he was there instead of like with her when she died, and he's like okay with that because like he knows that she wants him to be there. When she was gone, she knew that he was gonna have them, and like he's okay with the fact that he was with his chosen family when she died, because like that's all he has now. He's like, this has to work, like this place is it, y'all are it, he's meant to be there, they're all meant to be there, this place is meant to succeed. And yeah, so it seems like Marcus is the only one kind of on board fully with these non-negotiable vibes and like the vibes that Carmi's like spewing right now, which is cool to see, honestly. Also, I fully skipped I literally went from first moment to third moment, and I'm now realizing that I skipped the second one. So the second moment that I wanted to talk about before I accidentally went into the Marcus moment was there was a moment where Sid was like kind of like freaking, it seemed like she was like kind of like freaking out a bit about like the new menu that like Carmi suggested. And I'm kind of wondering, because when she first saw it and she was like, you changed everything, like she definitely seemed like, hey, we're a team here, you can't just like switch up on everything like without consulting me or like without talking to me about it. But then as he was explaining the menu, she was like, okay, yeah, and we're gonna do that and like this with that, and like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like she seemed on board with it, like really, okay, we're back to being here. But then there was just like little moments where she seemed like she was like kind of not super chill with it, like not super down. Like she gets that what he did is the best thing, but it's still the fact of like, you did this without me and we're supposed to be partners and team, and like we're supposed to come up with the stuff together, and you're kind of doing it without me, which is not chill. And I'm fully still with her, like, that's not chill. I don't know, it was like a very short little scene and it happened twice, so I don't know if I might be reading into it too much, but it's feeling like maybe she feels like it's more his than like theirs right now, which sucks, which is a sucky feeling. And I also remember that's how she was feeling in season 2 when he ditched her when she was on her like little food world tour moment. People were telling her like business partner, like no, could be bad, and she's like, oh no, we're like friends, like we're chill, like we're good partners and stuff like that. And then she started like second guessing because of what people were telling her, and it feels like we're kind of like circling back to that mentality slowly again. And I fully might be reading into a 2-second moment that happened in this episode, but I'm just like, I'm predicting, we'll see what happens, I guess. I don't know, it was kind of giving those vibes though. And then it's also interesting though, because like now he's making them sign like a contract where it's like a fully like, this is a partnership deal, split like 3 ways between like him, Sid, and Nat, like kind of a vibe. So yeah, like it's feeling very professional. I don't know, it seemed like she kind of didn't want that anymore. I'm getting like mixed signal vibes. I want to see how this plays out. I'm gonna stop talking about it, I'm gonna stop predicting things, and we're just gonna see how this plays out for right now. But that's all I have to say about that, and that's all I have to say about episode 2 basically. I'm gonna pick up tomorrow probably with episode 3. I'll still be in this hotel room, so I'll see you then. And that's that. I'll see you for episode 3. Is there anything else I want to say? No, there's not. See you tomorrow for episode 3. Bye. Good morning from my hotel room from an undisclosed location. Just kidding, it's California. I'm in California right now. LA baby, cue the Jonas Brothers song. Anyway, I watched episode 3 last night. I was too tired to film my, reaction, my thoughts on it. So now it's the morning before I got to breakfast, and I'm going to film my reaction. So we begin at the funeral for Marcus's mom, and honestly, Lionel Boyce, the actor who plays Marcus, served down with his little, I want to say like monologue, like that's what it, I don't know, acting speak, it was a monologue, but like what's it called at the funeral, like obituary? I can't think of the word. Eulogy. Him reading his mom's eulogy basically was great. I need to see this actor do more things later in life, please. Also, it's crazy because I remember when those like funeral pics dropped, like those funeral paparazzi pics dropped, and everybody was like, oh my god, like who died, and then somebody was like, oh, probably Marcus's mom, and then I was like, oh, okay, so true, so real, got it. Next, this episode's like a pretty like another like simple-ish one to explain. Lots of things happen, but in a very like easy way for me to like repeat and rehash and talk about right now. So basically we go through the motions of like doors for a bit. So the restaurant being open and the chaos and like the good moments, sorta. I feel like there's more chaos moments than good moments that come along with like it being open. But yeah, that was going on kind of like a montage-y moment of like doors, the restaurant being open, all of that. And let me go through a few key moments that felt like important-ish for me to write down and I kind of want to talk about. All right, here we go. So Ritchie writes his own list of non-negotiables, which Carmi hates. Of course he hates. Somebody's gonna kill somebody by the end of this. Like if they don't make up soon, like somebody's gonna murder someone here, and I don't know who's gonna be, and I don't want to lose either of them. So that's awesome. No, it's not. I'm scared. Next, we see some little moments of Tina just trying her absolute hardest and just trying to do her best. It's like very small, like little minor moments of her like learning how to make a new dish and her just kind of being like flustered in this new like kitchen environment, which makes sense, and I like that they're showing that. And this makes me so excited for her episode, which is directed by Io. I haven't been looking online, so I don't know when it's coming, but when it does come, I'll be excited, baby. I will be excited. I don't know, I just really like what they did with Tina's character, the development of that, I talked about this in the other video that I did talking about the bear and whatever, but just seeing like her like being so stuck in her ways and like not wanting change, to the transition of wanting change, wanting to be a better cook, and then going to school and like actually being like so excited to go to culinary school and like learn and just like be good and blah blah blah, and like when she gets like more responsibilities, she's like so into it and excited. I just love what they did with Tina's character. I love the development. Thank you. Next was like probably the funniest moment. It shouldn't have been so funny, but I'm sorry it was. So basically Fack is like, hey, I want to go like serve these people. Like he's just like front of house. He's not supposed to be hands and serving people. He's just like greeting. I feel like he's kind of like a shadow of Ritchie. Like whatever Ritchie's doing, he's like kind of like right there. Like they're kind of like an assistant kind of vibe. But he's like, oh no, I want to try my hand at serving people. And Carmi's like, you sure? He's like, yes, I got this. Like I can do it. So he serves like, I think it's like a broth tea looking thing. So he serves it to the people. He's like, hey guys, this is this dish. Blah, blah, blah. I'm supposed to pour it in front of you. He pours his broth into the bowl and then he's like, enjoy. And then he walks away. And then he walks away with the food in his hand. And it really took me a moment. I was like, the food, bro, you're supposed to give them the food. You're supposed to give them the food. He goes back to the kitchen. He's like, I did it. I poured it in front of them. And Carmi's like, are you literally joking me? Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me right now? What are you doing? Are you insane? Blah, blah, blah. And starts like going off on him as expected, of course. Yeah, that was hilarious. It shouldn't have been so hilarious. I kind of felt bad for him, but it was a bit hilarious. I'm sorry, Fack. I do love you though. Next, we see a moment of Ebro literally struggling at this like to-go booth because they put a to-go booth for like sandwiches. The people that just want sandwiches, whatever. They have that. And Ebro's running it and he's like struggling, like doing the order. He's like, John H, where are you, John H? And I need him to get some help. It shouldn't just be him back there. One, because there was never just one person working in that kitchen when it was just a sandwich shop. So why would the to-go sandwich shop need just one person there? At least two, maybe even three should be there. Because like it looks like he's like taking order, or maybe it's just like a delivery, like people just like order online and then come pick it up. I don't know. But like if it's not that, he's taking the order, making it, serving it. Give my man a break. Give him some help. Please, please, please. Then we see good old Unky Cicero freaking out. I'm pretty sure that's his name. I'm sorry if I just literally forgot it, but I'm pretty sure that's his name. But we see Unky Cicero freaking out because his money is literally leaving his pockets. He's not even doing anything, money's leaving his pockets. And he's like complaining to Sugar. Sugar's like, I'm trying, you know, Carmi. I can't control him. He's spending a lot. And he's like, what the heck? $11,000 for butter?
I have a bill in my hands for $11,268 for butter. Buddy, what is it? The fucking rare Transylvanian five-titted goat? We cannot fucking keep this up.
It's Orwellian.
It's dystopian butter?
What?
What are you talking about?
No. Orwell, Vermont.
Orwell, Vermont.
Yes.
Of course. I'm gonna send him 20 fucking grand.
It's the best.
Oh yeah, suck me.
So he's complaining, valid concerns, he's losing a lot of money. I would also be complaining. Next and finally, for the last thing, I kind of want to talk about this, which we kind of see throughout different moments in the episode, but I just want to talk about it last. So Sid is absolutely slaying right now. She's like so cool, calm, collected. She's really good at like dealing with the arguments and all the yelling, especially between Carmi and Ritchie right now, because they're just like I said, somebody's gonna die. And I don't know if Sid's gonna be able to stop that, but like the animosity between them is crazy boots. So yeah, but Sid's like really good at like calming that and like keeping arguments down, just like kind of like chilling Carmi for the most part. Like she's really good at that. But I need to know what's going on in her head, because there were little random moments where like we would just get a shot of her like looking a certain way, and I just want to know what's going on in there. I don't know, like I feel like she's like getting like detached, or like she's just like not into it. She's not happy, like going through these motions of like, you know, doors, how many times am I gonna say that? But like going through all those motions, like it's been a month and it just seems like she's like not happy. I don't want to make any conclusions. I don't know what's going on in there. I want to know though. I want to know so bad what's wrong with her, because like I know there's something deeper there, and I love Sydney and I just need her to be happy, and it doesn't look like she's happy right now, so I'm stressed and I just want to know what's going on in there. So I'm not gonna jump to conclusions, I'm not gonna say certain things, but just know, Sydney, I need to know what's going on in there. Especially the last shot of the episode, there was just something about that look on her face, like I don't know, I feel like, I don't know, man. And we're gonna find out soon, I guess. But wow, I am stressed. I don't know what's going on. And that was episode 3 of The Bear. I'll see you when I watch episode 4. Thank you. I feel like I was about to say a bunch of other stuff, and then I'm like, you know what? Let me just not say anything else, and let me just stop talking. Thank you. See you for episode 4. Will it stress me out as much as this one did? Probably. That's the staple of The Bear. Stressing me out, making me anxious, making me nervous, sending me into panic attacks. Yay! Woo! Bye. Hi, let's get into episode 4. No small talk, let's just jump right in, baby. Okay, so we start with the Carmi x Claire flashback moment scene, which is cute. I don't know. I still feel indifferent about Claire specifically, and that's only because I feel like I know nothing about her. I mean, in this flashback moment, I learned that she almost killed someone. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, but like not really. It was a little doctor mishap, whatever, like not that big of a deal, honestly. Well, kind of a big deal, but also like it was an accident, basically, is what I'm trying to say. I don't know why I brought that up, but yeah, I still feel kind of indifferent about her. But like I said, I feel like I know nothing about her aside from her being Carmi's love interest that, like, you know, he fumbled the bag at this point. I feel like we're never gonna get any more depth to her aside aside from being Carmi's love interest, so I feel like I'll always just feel it different. Like, it just feels like there's nothing more. Like, she just feels so surface level, and I'm like, let me freaking get in there and see what she's about. To me, like, there's nothing special about Claire because I don't know Claire. I just know everybody loves her, but why? I'm done talking about it now. Now for this episode, let's basically go scene by scene. I might exclude a couple scenes. This is just like the stuff that like felt important to me and the stuff that I want to talk about. So let's just go kind of scene by scene of what happened in this episode. First, Marcus is like driving down the street, and then he's like stopped at a stop sign, I believe, and then he turns and like he sees a flower, a singular flower growing in a fence. He stops his car, gets out to take a picture. That's so cute. That's just so cute. And nothing was said in that scene. Absolutely nothing was said, but I feel like it still says so much about his character. I'm just gonna leave you with that. I'm gonna let you sit with that one. Next, we learn that Sid's getting an apartment, and her dad, like, she's showing her dad the place. She's like, so what do you think? Blah, blah, you hate it, don't you? And her dad is being so dad about it. He's like, do you feel how thin these walls are? Like, blah, blah, blah. She's like, no, I haven't felt the walls. He's like, okay, maybe you just like hold off on getting it. And she's like, well, I already signed the lease. Clink, clink, keys clinking there. Sound effect, no, probably not. But yeah, her dad's being so dad about it, and I quite love it. I love their little relationship. Can we tap more into that, please? I love him. I love her. I love them together. Thank you. Then we have such a sweet, wholesome little moment with Ritchie and his daughter, Eva. I think that was her name. Eva? I can't remember. It's spelled with an E, but I don't know if it's pronounced Eva or Ava. I can't remember. I'm sorry. But sweet little moment. Like how I said, I love what they did with Tina's character in this show. I also love what they did with Ritchie's character at the show. Like, he's just such a mature guy now. Like, that restaurant, like, he was there for like a week, I'm pretty sure it was a week. Like, that restaurant literally like changed him. It snapped something in his brain. He just became such a mature guy, and he's just so good. Great dad, great person. Ritchie, I love you. Ritchie, I love you. Whoa, oh my gosh. Next, Peter. We get Peter. Peter's here finally. Finally, we see Peter. Hello. Hi, Peter. We finally see him, and he's being so husband and cute to Sugar, and I just love them together. They're just good. You know, everybody's like, Peter's corny, Peter's a cornball, he's cringe and cheesy, but that's what Sugar needs, dude. Like, she needs that stability. She needs that normalness that she never had when she was like growing up. So I love Peter. And also, I'm gonna call it right now, he's gonna miss the birth of his child. He's gonna miss the birth of that child, because it was established that he's going on a little trip for a week, and then he's coming back, and there's gonna be like 2 weeks left or like 1 week left from the due date, and she's ready to go. Sugar's ready to pop, and I think it's gonna happen before he's back. And also because like 2 weeks to go, but she's in the most high stress situation work-wise, like, that baby's coming sooner rather than later. I'm sorry to say it. I feel like it's gonna happen in this week that he's gone, and I just smell it from a mile away. If I'm wrong, let's not talk about it. If I'm wrong, I did not say that. If I'm right though, I did say that. Next, we have a little Sid x Carmi moment, you know, some restaurant talk in the beginning. I feel like there's like some slight tension there where it's like, it feels like we're not on the same wavelength. It feels like we're just like right past each other. You know, we're not like meshing super well. Like, we're there, but we're not there. You know what I mean? That's the kind of tension I'm feeling between them right now, restaurant work-wise. But then also in this scene, we get a moment where it feels like they are, you know, besties at the end of the day. Like, he's asking her like, oh, did you get the apartment? She's like, yeah. And then she's like, oh, you're still quitting smoking? He's like, yeah, like 41 days, 40 days, 41 days, one of those numbers. And then she tries the nicotine gum and is literally like, this is disgusting, which is valid. I could imagine that would taste absolutely horrid. But yeah, very nice scene to see. I feel like it just shows that at the end of the day, they're besties, man. Like, I don't know, it was a very short scene of them like talking about restaurant and then like going into like personal, you know, normal friend things. But still, I feel like it's important to include stuff like that, even if it's like short. And maybe I'm reading into it a little bit too much, but I'll take the crumbs I can get, baby. I will take the crumbs I can get. And then we have a Sugar x Ritchie moment, which I love, because I love this duo, especially considering like how much like anger, like animosity was between them in the beginning, like last season, building up the restaurant, blah blah, and like she was there full time, he's obviously there full time, and like there was just a lot of like clashing there. It's just nice to see like they have a friendship. It's really cute and I love it. And not just like a surface level friendship, like they were actually talking about like deep stuff.
She's almost here.
What? Hey, what was that? Tell me.
I'm just, I'm thinking about how to not let what's in here, how to not let that get to her.
Yeah, I think about that all the time.
You do?
I got nothing, though. You have any luck?
I have nothing.
You think, like, it's better if I, like, back off?
What do you mean?
Like, I don't want to back off, but is it confusing for her? Like, you know, everyone's talking about how Frank is the shit, and, like, I don't know, maybe it's weird that I'm, like, around.
No. I think it'd be weird if you weren't around.
Yeah?
Yeah. What does she think?
Tiff?
No, Evie.
She thinks I'm alone.
Are you?
I just love them. I just love them. I love them together. I love unlikely duos in TV shows and stuff, you know what I mean? Like, I love a scene between two characters I never expect to happen, but it hits, like, perfectly. I just never expected them to get to this place with each other, and I quite love it. And it just once again shows how much, you know, Ritchie's character has turned into this mature guy, and et cetera, and how he's just, like, so, like, such a good person, and he's, like, really showing that and, like, showing up, and it's awesome. And also, that's just kind of like a random tidbit, but it made me think about this during this scene. I am so scared what the restaurant's gonna be like when she's out on maternity leave, or like whatever they call it. Like when she has the baby, like she can't be in the restaurant full time. How is this gonna go? Like, I feel like this is such a delicate ecosystem happening in this restaurant, and it's still chaotic even with this delicate ecosystem in place. So I'm just scared, you know, we take one piece out, like it's all gonna fall apart. I'm a bit scared. We will see what happens, I guess. I don't know. And then we end this episode with finding out that the Tribune is coming, the Chicago Tribune, I'm assuming they just said the Tribune, magazine, newspaper, whatever, is coming to take pictures of the restaurant, which means that they have already been reviewed and nobody knew about it. Nobody knew that the food critic had come, and yeah, I didn't talk about this, but at the beginning of the episode, they were like starting to prep for food critics to come. They were like, these are the people, these are the faces to look out for. If somebody comes in with one of these faces, you know, when these people come in, code red, we need to snap in, tap in, all of that, whatever. And now they found out, like, oh crap, it's already happened. We've already been reviewed. So that's awesome. That's great. Yeah. Woo! And that was episode 4. Thank you. I'll see you for episode 5, maybe tonight. This is the last night I'm in the hotel. So if I don't do a filming tonight, then I'll see you back in our regularly scheduled programming back in my house, baby. That's it. See you later. Bye. Hello, it is time to talk about episode 5, right? That's where we are. Yep, episode 5. Let's jump in. Any small talk I want to say? No, not really. Last day in this hotel, packed up. That's all that matters. Honestly, none of that matters. Me talking about the bear is what matters. Let's go. So we start with Sid helping Marcus clean out his mom's house, and then we get the conversation that I've kind of been waiting for. You know, them finally talking about, hey, remember when I low-key asked you on a date? Oh, that's crazy. Mainly we see that from Marcus's side, and he's like, oh, I made things weird. Like, I'm sorry about that. And she's like, it's fine, let's not talk about it. So we only really see his, like, thought perspective on things. We don't really see Sid's. And I could see it going either way. That means, like, yeah, it definitely meant nothing. And, like, she also is like, yeah, that was a bit weird. We should definitely not go down that path, whatever. But then I can also see her just, like, you know, burying it on her feelings. There's bigger fish to fry right now than me wondering if I like Marcus or whatever. Like, if something could potentially maybe happen between us, you know? So I don't know. Will we ever come back to it? If we don't, I get it. If we do, I would also get it. So I don't know. But also their Dead Moms Club banter was so funny and quite cute, and I just love their banter together. Like, their dry humor, sarcasm, they just like bounce off each other so well. And if you're saying, would I watch a show with Io, edebiri, and Lionel Boyce, just them two doing things? Yes, I would. Yes, I freaking would. And I will attempt to insert that scene, that little Dead Moms Club scene. If I don't get beaten down by copyright, I will insert it. If I do, just dream what you think it was, I guess. I don't know.
You are unwell.
Well, yes, of course, but you are also unwell.
Yeah, we're both unwell.
And we're both members of an elite club. Dead Mom Club, welcome. Have you not gotten your membership in the mail yet?
Not yet, but maybe it's coming today. I don't know.
We meet in the dankest church basement possible, just that we can find. And dues are bi-monthly, which is really nice.
You know a lot. Were you the president of the Dead Mom Store?
No, but I take minutes at the meetings.
That tracks.
I know. I'm very organized.
Next, we find out that Miss Olivia Colman's restaurant is closing, Chef Terry, which is not good news, because that was literally, if I'm not crazy and like mistaken right now, that was literally considered like the best restaurant in the world. It's been open for a really long time. But we later see Ritchie's talking to one of the worker girls, and it wasn't really about like money or whatever. It was mainly, they got the vibe of like Chef Terry was just like over it, you know? Like, and I guess like once you're out of inspo, then what's the point? I mean, not what's the point, but like I would get why you would then be like, it's time to move on to other things and close down something old, maybe try to find something new. I don't know, but that's what the girl was like kind of saying. Then we get a Marcus x Sugar moment, which was so like unexpected but awesome. Like I said before, I love unlikely duos in shows, like little duo moments, and I loved it. It was so cute. I loved it, and that's all I have to say. I loved it. Next, we're finally about to get Eber some help in that to-go bar booth, whatever, to-go door, to-go window, and I'm so excited about that. Thank God. Carmi's finally realizing that. Sugar agrees, and that's awesome to me. Next, we get a John Cena cameo. He's one of the facts. Why is that like kind of not surprising? That's all I'm gonna say on that. That's all I need to say on that. Thank you. Then we meet the Mr. Computer guy. I can't remember his exact like title. I know we mentioned him like briefly before, but now I'm like blanking on like what his exact title is and like what exactly he does. But what I got from that scene of like him being here, whatever, is that he's kind of just like an analytics numbers guy trying to help them like save money in like different places. I was kind of with him. I was like, okay, I get you. You're cool. Until he was like, we need to get rid of the pastry chef. We need to get rid of Marcus. And then that man is on my list now. And no, I hate him personally. And then I love how Sugar was immediately like, nope. We are not getting rid of Marcus. No. If you try to get rid of Marcus, I will murder you.
Do you need a pastry chef?
That's Marcus.
Do you need a Marcus?
Yeah, we need a Marcus.
Can you get a cheaper Marcus?
Computer.
Natalie.
I've known you for 35 years. You coached Mikey's Little League team. You're nice to Pete. If you fuck with Marcus, I will murder you.
Chef.
And that's the end of that. At least I hope that's the end of that. If he does try to like get rid of Marcus, I will murder him too. Yes. Okay, right. And then we have another unlikely duo moment between Cicero and Sid, which is cool. And it's also kind of like a random like heart-to-heart moment. Like he's talking to her about like how he feels that it's kind of like his fault for like what happened with the kids. He feels like he could have done more then, and like now like he's trying to make up for lost time in a way. But then it's like, oh, I just got this guy a restaurant. Like, is that like am I too crazy right now? But Sid's like, no, like you're here, and that's like all that matters. Like you're here right now. That's great. That's awesome. So yeah, that was a cute little heart-to-heart moment. He's like, Sid, you better sign those papers. Are we gonna be partners or not? She's like, yeah, of course. Like, yeah, I'm gonna sign. I've just been busy. Like, blah blah blah. Yeah, I am so confused about what's going on with her. I don't know. I don't get it. Something's building. Something is building in there. Something's building internally, deep in her brain. I don't know, and I'm scared to see what we're building to. At the end of the day, the verdict just got in. I don't know what's going on. So that's awesome. I'm just like, why is she avoiding, you know, signing the DocuSign? Why is she avoiding like the partnership? Will it make it too real? Does she kind of feel like she's 1 foot in, 1 foot out right now? So when she signs it, like she will be trapped in there? I don't know. And I'm scared to find out. And then we end this episode with a moment where Carmi's like looking through like boxes and like he finds like some old pictures of him and his mom and like blah blah blah. And honestly, I am ready for my Jamie Lee Curtis cameo, baby. I'm ready for her to come on, say hi, do something a little crazy. I don't know, but I'm ready. I'm ready for my Jamie Lee Curtis cameo. And I know that the cameo, if it's like a present day one and not like a flashback scene we're getting from her, I know it's gonna be so interesting to see, mainly because Sugar's been avoiding her mom like the plague right now. Like she's been dodging her calls, not calling her back, blah 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 blah. Literally her mom was calling her this episode and she declined it. Like this is going to be very interesting when this cameo finally happens. I'm very interested to see what that combo is gonna be like. If it's a present day, if it's a flashback, I think we can expect the expected, but if it's not a flashback, if it's present day, it's gonna be interesting to see, to say the least. That sounds really weird. But yeah, that was episode 5. Short, sweet, to the point, not much to say. I think I want to do something. Actually, let's talk about it right now. So now we're halfway through this season. How am I feeling so far? It is a bit slow, I will admit, but at the same time, like I like it. I wonder how it would be if I was like actually binging it, like how I would be feeling, because I have been taking my time, like an episode or 2 a day, mainly just an episode a day, and I feel like maybe that's why it feels slow, because I'm just watching 1 episode a day. The episodes themselves all move quick, which it's the bear, that makes sense. And so far I'm interested. I don't know, it's like I don't know exactly where we're going plot wise, but that makes sense because it's the bear. It's much more of a character driven show rather than a of plot driven show. I've talked about that before, but yeah, I don't really know where we're going, and I kind of like that. I feel like this feels a bit more artsy-ish with like the way the editing's been and like the way the episodes have been kind of going, but it's still really good, and it still feels very like reminiscent of season 2 and of season 1 vibes. So, but yeah, that's all I have to say right now. That's how I'm feeling about The Bear, this halfway mark. The next time you'll see me, I will be back in our regularly scheduled programming and our regularly scheduled setup. No more hotel setup, and yeah, I will see you after I watch episode 6. Signing off for now. Bye. Yes, I went to the Academy Museum. Yes, I reached my full film bro potential now. Thank you. I'm glad to join the club. I'm kidding. Fully kidding. Anyway, we're back to our regularly scheduled setup. Here we are, back home. Let's talk about episode 6. 6, right? Where are we? Hello? Episode 6. Let's talk about episode 6. Before we get into it, cat came really fast. Hello. He's awesome. Cool. He's moving about. He's settling. He's settled. Oh. Awesome. So let's just jump right in. Episode 6, we get to Tina's episode. I owe edebiri directorial debut, baby. I have prayed and hoped for times like these. Thank you. I'm glad we're here. So basically, this whole thing is a flashback episode. We learn about Tina pre-working at the Bear. She was working at this job. I don't know the exact thing. I think it was like data entry, something with like numbers, office job kind of a vibe. And she gets laid off from that job. So then we go through like a whole like motions of her trying to find a new job. She literally gets fired from her job, and then the next day she's like, okay, I'm going out. I'm gonna find something, grind. Like, I'm not taking a break, no morning period. Like, I'm going out and finding another job. And it was just a lot of that for like most of the episode, of her just like trying to find something new. A lot of rejections, a lot of like going into places and people being like, we don't take resumes like in person anymore, like just apply on LinkedIn. And then other people like, oh yes, you've basically done this job already because like, you know, your past job was basically doing this job that you're applying for, but you need a college degree right now, sorry. And it's just a lot of that, a lot of rejections, a lot of getting her hopes up and then like getting like let down by people like, oh, we already filled the job, blah 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 blah, just a lot of that. Then one day, I think it was like right after she just got like a rejection after getting her hopes up from something that she was like kind of really excited for, and then she goes in and then the receptionist guy's like, oh, they already found someone for the job, sorry, the posting's filled, whatever. And then she leaves, and then her bus is delayed, and then right across the street from like the bus stop she was at, she sees the beef and she's like, you know what, like let me go in there, like I want a coffee, I want like a quick sandwich or something. So she goes into the beef and then lives were changed, baby. Immediately it's a chaotic environment, which we know the beef, very on par, very, we get it, we get her, we know, we've been there before, I've seen this one before, you know. We immediately meet Ritchie, and he's his usual like personal people person kind of guy. Like obviously he gives her a free coffee and then literally gives her a free sandwich too. She takes her coffee and her sandwich, she goes to sit in the dining area, like where they have the arcade stuff set up, whatever. She goes to sit there eating the sandwich, and then we see like Mikey, Fack, and then Ritchie, like they're like at the arcade playing a game or whatever, and then Tina's eating her sandwich and she's like literally sobbing, crying her eyes out. And at first I was like, oh my god, this is the sandwich that bad? But I think it was mainly just like, you know, just feeling so like defeated, and you're just like, I'm trying so hard and I just keep getting like the door slammed in my face, like this is so annoying. So it makes sense why she's crying. Honestly, I would have cried as well. I would have cried a lot if I was in her position. So very valid cry session. And then Mikey comes over to comfort her, and then we get a really awesome heart-to-heart moment conversation between the two of them, and it felt like the kind of conversation that you could only have with a stranger, you know what I mean? Like a truly honest, I'm saying exactly how I'm feeling, blah 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 kind of conversation that you could only have with a stranger, because like when you're talking to a stranger, like you have nothing to lose, you're not trying to impress them, you're not trying to like save face, you're not trying to do certain things that you would do with a person that you already know. Like you want to seem your best self to people, like, you know, usually, but like with a stranger it's like, I'm probably never gonna see you after this moment. So like, why not just be 1000% honest with you right now? So that's kind of conversation we get from them. Like they literally talk about like all the bad stuff going on in their lives, her talking about her losing her job, she worked at that place for 15 years, like they didn't give a crap about her, blah blah blah. Him talking about like the stressfulness of the restaurant, money issues with the restaurant, etc etc. And then they also talk about like dreams, how like some people have dreams and some people know exactly what they want to do and like they're good at it, and other people don't, and where do we lie on that like spectrum kind of a vibe. And yeah, just a really good conversation, first time meeting. I loved how honest it was and just deep, and it was just so like, I have nothing to lose, why not bare my soul right now for no real reason except it might make me feel a bit better. And then like they literally like say all their problems. It's like, do we feel better? It's like, not really, but it was cool to get it out, I guess. Anyway though, this episode makes me completely get why she was the way that she was at the beginning of the show, like how she never wanted things to change, and it was mainly because she just wanted a routine. She just wanted a job that was a job at the end of the day. Like she didn't care about like having a passion or feeling super passionate about what she was doing. She just wanted a job to pay her bills and like feed her freaking kid. So it makes sense why she, like, at the beginning, she was like, I don't want things to change. Like, I love the routine of this job. Like, this job has been a job and I want to stay a job. And then there's this one moment from the episode that completely sums up how her mindset was back then. And I'm going to insert it right now because it's really important. So here it is. Thank you.
I don't need to be inspired. I don't need to be impassioned. I don't need to make magic. I don't need to save the world, you know? I just want to feed my kid. You know? Amen, man. Just give me a routine. I'm in.
And it's just so cool to see how she's like the complete opposite of that mindset now, basically. Like, she's so excited about the restaurant and where she is right now, and it just genuinely seems like she really loves it, and she actually wants to be there because she wants to be a good chef. She wants to learn and she wants to be good at the job. It's not just a job to her anymore. Like, it's literally a passion. And I feel like we could definitely clearly see that last season when she went to school, which was like so awesome, and like it just showed she really loved to be a part of that environment, you know, like she really wanted to learn and be a better chef, all that stuff. And it was just really cool and cute to see, and it's really nice to see it now in comparison to where we once were. Like, I don't know, this growth path is just awesome, dude. It's just so awesome. I love you, Tina. And her story, honestly, it just shows that it's never too late to find that dream that you want, or like a passion that you want for your life. Like, she was literally like, I'm 46 years old, like I don't care about having a passion, but like now she literally has one. Now she literally has one. It's freaking never too late to find what you want, or to do what you want, or to try new things, or to try out something that you never did, but it's like, maybe I should do it. Like, it's never too late, and her story literally proves that, and I freaking love it. I freaking love it. Freaking love Tina's character. Thank you. I will say that until the day I die. I love Tina. I love her character. Thank you. Like, it's just so crazy. She didn't even want to be a chef at first. Her job wasn't even working in a restaurant before she found the bear, but like, literally look at her now. Look at her now. It's just so awesome to see. I'm sorry, and I'm gonna keep saying that. It's just so awesome to see, man. And now I need a brief moment to talk about her husband, David. I love him. He's awesome. He was so supportive and nice. And then there was a part where she was like, oh, like, is your company hiring for like a washed up old lady? He's like, you mean a beautiful young woman? And I'm like, David, sweet man, I love you. What happened to him? Where is he? I might be confused. I might be like just dumb, but I don't know. Like, does he still exist now? Is he still around? I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think back to like when they had opening night and they brought like friends and family and stuff. Like, was he there? Is he okay? David, are you alive? I feel like he's alive. I feel like he's okay. But I just don't know. In present day, have we seen him? Because, baby, I don't know. And maybe I'm just stupid. And will I go fact check and try to find it? Nah. Tell me in the comments below if David still exists. Or maybe we'll find it later. I don't know. But yeah, I love him though. He's awesome. He seems awesome. David, don't wrong me. Do not wrong me, sir, because... Anyway, and finally, I would like to say, edebiri, keep directing things, baby. Please keep directing things. Like, this was so perfect to me, and I loved this episode. And usually I'm not a girl that likes a flashback episode kind of a vibe, but the bear is teaching me to love flashback episodes. So, thank you, bear. And thank you, edebiri, for directing this. Thank you. Wow! Alright, that's it. What? Anyway, that's it. Bye. See you later. Bye. Hello, and we're back, sitting on the floor, because why not? Let's just jump into episode 7, baby. Here we go. So there might be a potential poaching situation happening very soon, because the Adam guy, the one that worked at Olivia Colman's restaurant, he's now opening up his own place since Olivia Colman's restaurant is closing. He met with Sid for coffee, and he's like, Sid, I want you to run the place. I want you to be running the place. I want you to be fully in charge. She's like, what's the vibe of the place? He's like, you choose the vibe. You're in complete control of everything. And she's like, okay, I'm definitely gonna give this like a little bit of a think. I'm definitely gonna give this a little thinker. Thank you for like thinking of me. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm definitely gonna give this a little think. I don't think I mentioned this in like past episodes, whatever, but I definitely smelled some sort of poaching situation happening. I can't remember what episode it was, but there was like some moment where they ran into each other on the subway, basically. He's like, oh, I stopped by the bear, like it's really good, blah blah blah, like your work is awesome, little moment like that. And when that moment happened, I was like, something more is brewing here. Like, it's not just like this guy coming and saying, hey, you're doing great, your work is awesome, love you, Sid, and that'd be the end of that. I feel like there was more. I definitely probably did not even mention that scene at all in whatever episode it happened in, but from that moment I smelled something happening, and finally it did. Finally it's happening. But I do know though that I did mention previously how Sid was like, something's going on with Sid. Like, Sid was not feeling like things were feeling like a partnership between her and Carmen anymore. Like, she's starting to think like, something giving the vibe of like, he's the leader and I'm following his lead instead of us being leaders together, which sadly I agree with her. It's not in her head. Like, it's definitely giving the truth right now. And it's funny because we exactly see that happening at the end of this episode, where he's working on the menu tomorrow and like she's trying to help out and like give her 2 cents and like give some ideas of like, yeah, let's do this maybe, let's do that. And he's like shutting down, like so mindlessly too, shutting down like every single one of her ideas. Like he already had the menu planned, and it just proves like none of this is in her head. It's very much happening. Like, where's the partnership? Where's both of us collaborating on stuff? It seems like you're doing all the work and I'm just like signing off like, okay, yeah, good idea, like, oh, that's good, instead of us like meshing. We're on different wavelengths right now. Like, they're very much parallel instead of right there, you know what I mean? And I'm personally trying not to worry or like stress out about the situation, because like, I don't know, I literally see both sides and I'm like, it hurts me to really think about this situation, because I love Sid being at the Bear and like her dynamics with everyone and the relationship she has with everyone, and I just can't imagine her not being there. But at the same time, I get her feeling underappreciated, and like what the restaurant has now become is not what she originally imagined it to be. Like, I get her. So if she did leave, I would get it, and I would have to stand with her, I think. And I would have to stand with her, but I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think that far ahead about things. And all of that is literally just another reason why she's like so hesitant on signing the contract, which is another thing that's valid. And at the same time, like, you know, everybody's like, sign the contract, Sid, but nobody's asking her, hey, why haven't you signed the contract yet? Like, what's going on? Like, do we need to talk about it? Like, what do we need to talk about for us to, you know, get you to sign that contract? You know what I mean? Because at this point, like, they should know it's not a matter of her just like not having time to sit down and click a button and sign it. Now they should know it's like there's something more brewing there. But then at the same time, everybody's stressed and blah blah blah. Everybody has other little things going on, but they can't worry about this little thing going on, which is not even a little thing. It is a big thing. And it's a stressful thing. I'm confused. But at the end of the day, though, she does need to have a conversation. She does need to say how she's feeling. And I don't know who. Maybe like Sugar. I feel like if her and Nat talked about that, like it could be a good moment. Nat would be very understanding of the whole situation. But at the end of the day, that conversation truly needs to happen with Carmi for obvious reasons. And I will patiently wait for that to happen. Will it happen? I really hope it does. It needs to. If that conversation is gonna happen, it definitely needs to happen with him. I don't know. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I don't want to talk about that situation anymore. I can't. Anyway though, Ibra is finally getting his help in that to-go window, and it's finally running like a well-oiled machine. Everybody is doing their thing. It's looking great. And there was a little moment of Ibra smiling, and it was awesome. I'm really happy that he finally got his help. Now the only thing that's making money will make even more money. Period. Then we randomly learned more about Gary Sweeps, which was like really cool and awesome, like his baseball story and like everything that happened with that. Like, as they started talking about it, I'm like, oh yeah, he was like a baseball guy, like minor leagues, whatever. I remember them mentioning that like maybe season 1, season 2-ish. So it was nice to get like a little more in-depth to his like history and stuff. I love learning things about characters that I never expected to learn things about, you know? And it just shows that this show, like, they're just so thoughtful with their characters and all the people that they like bring in. Like, every character has some sort of history. Every character has like some deeper past backstory to them, which is just so cool. So it was nice seeing that for Gary, for Sweeps, who's now a nice little sommelier. I don't think I just said that right, but he's the wine guy, which is awesome. And then finally, I'm very scared to say this, but we end this episode with Sugar going into labor. It happens at a restaurant depot. She's like going to do like an order thing for people, getting some seafolds and blah blah blah. And then as she's packing everything into her car, her water breaks, or like she goes into labor, whatever. And it's so insane because right before like the moment where she like goes into labor, we see services starting. So everybody's like putting on their aprons, putting their phones away, locking them in lockers, and then we cut to the scene of her going into labor. So I'm like, oh my god, nobody's gonna answer the phone. Who is she gonna call? Like, everybody's there working. Pete's still on his trip, just like I called it. Pete's still on his trip, so who's she gonna call? Mom? I don't know if I could see that happening, but like maybe she would call her mom or Claire, you know, because she's doctor adjacent. So maybe Claire. I don't know, man. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm excited to see what happens. It took so much in me to not immediately go to the next episode because it ended right with her going into labor and like starting to breathe heavy, like while she's like putting the stuff in her truck. She's like, you know, labor pains. I don't know proper terms, I'm sorry, but it ends right there, and I immediately wanted to go to the next episode, but I stopped myself and was like, no, I need to sit down and film this, and then we're gonna go into the next episode. So remember I said I want to take things slow? Not right now. I'm immediately going into episode 8. I will see you after I watch that. Thank you. Bye. Hi, let's just jump right into episode 8. Okay, cool, let's go. Okay, so we start things off with Sugar driving herself to the hospital. My jaw literally dropped to the floor. I'm like, nobody in that parking lot could have like helped her out, but also valid because like I'm not calling an ambulance. Like, if I can maybe drive, like, you are not catching me paying $2,000 for an ambulance. So I get her, but that still just made me literally like are you kidding me, girl? Why are you driving yourself? And that was like a stressful first little opening of like her driving herself to the hospital and like trying to call people. And also I need to say that the order of her calling people felt very important. Like first Peter, obviously, then it was Sydney, then it was Carmi, then it was Marcus, then it was Ritchie, and then she even attempts to call Claire, but like she's like, call Claire, and it's like calling the bear, and so that doesn't work. In my eyes, like that order just feels like so important of something that I'm not going to talk about, but it just feels important, and you can think more on that if you would like to for yourself, I guess. Yes. And none of those calls work, so she ends up calling mom. So technically I was right about both things that I said. I was like, is she gonna try to call Claire? Is she gonna try to call her mom? I was right about both. Anyway, though, we get the Jamie Lee Curtis cameo that I have been waiting and asking for. Finally, her mom meets her at the hospital, and then her mom is just there with her throughout most of it, not all of it, most of it. And that's kind of what this episode is, just them at the hospital, her in labor, her mom being there with her. So yeah. And as with any tumultuous and like strained familial relationship, we see both like the ups and downs between them in this moment. Like moments where Sugar's annoyed at Donna and like they're just clashing and arguing, and then there are other moments when things are like nice and calm and like chill between them, and Donna's telling a story, specifically I think it was like Mikey's birth story and Carmi's birth story. Nat's just like chilling and listening, and then other moments on top of that where Donna's actually like mothering and like trying to like take care of Nat, just like little mom moments, which is cute to see. We love that. We see both sides of the spectrum, which makes sense. They have a tumultuous relationship. Obviously we're gonna see ups and downs, but I did love seeing the ups between them. And then also in this episode we get a lot of honest convos between them, which is really, really great. We get a deeper dive into the more messier parts of the relationship. Like I wrote stuff down, like how Natalie felt as a child, always trying to like make sure her mom was okay instead of like her mom making sure she was okay. Like she was basically like doing the mothering and being the mom in the situation, putting her mom's feelings first and blah blah blah, trying to make her mom feel good. So yeah, she talks about that, and also how she still tries to do stuff like that to this day. Like it wasn't just a childhood thing, like it's in her adult life now, trying to like do what's best for her mom instead of like what's best for her, and like she doesn't want to do that. And her mom's like, oh, that's sweet that you do that, and she's like, no, it's like really messed up that I do that. I shouldn't be doing that, which is like valid. Like to an extent you should be like, you know, thinking of others, and of course of like other family members, and of course like your parents and stuff, but like to an extent like you also need to think of yourself and also realize I'm not supposed to be the parent in this situation. You're supposed to be parenting me. Why am I the one constantly thinking about your feelings when you should be thinking about me? Like I am the child in the situation. And Nat also talks about like how she feels like she's gonna bring all of that childhood stuff into her mothering. She talks about how she's scared that she's gonna be a bad mother, she's gonna be just like her mom, or she's gonna like make her daughter feel the way that she felt when she was a kid, and she really doesn't want that, and she's like scared about that. And that was like one of the main reasons why she didn't tell her mom or like want her mom to be a part of like the pregnancy in any way. I think there was a line, I might be butchering it right now, but I think she says like, I didn't want to tell you because I didn't want you to bring all of your stuff with you into this, which is completely valid. And then Donna is like actually really apologetic about it, and she's like talks about how she's trying to like work on herself. And Donna also tells her like, you're gonna be a good mom, everything's gonna be okay, like your daughter's gonna be okay, like everything's going to be fine. And honestly it was just really nice to see that moment and like see them just like finally have that conversation that they probably need to have since that literally was like a teenager or whatever. Like we finally have that, and that's our first step to healing, folks. Talking, communicating, trying to communicate, trying to talk to each other. First step, let's go. And then literally at one point, I think it was like towards the end, Sugar's like, I'm really glad that you're here right now, which is like such a simple statement, but it truly means like so much. Like that was such an important line, because like she never wanted her mom here. She would dodge her calls. Like this whole season we've seen her like dodging her calls, missing calls, not calling her back, whatever. And now she's like, I'm glad you're here right now. Her saying that is just such a huge thing and like a really awesome step in like the right direction for them two. And I hope the relationship just continues to like heal and get worked on. One conversation one day isn't gonna like erase all the past stuff or even like put us in a really awesome place that we want to be in, but it's of course the first step to getting to that place. So that's awesome. Great, good for them, love it. And then towards the end of the episode, Donna tells Natalie her birth story, which is so sweet and wholesome. And during that moment as they're talking, like looking at each other, Donna mentions like, oh, this is the song that I played while you were born. And Natalie's like, what's the song? And then like Donna pulls out her phone and plays it, and as the song's playing, they're just like looking at each other, and you can just see so much like healing happening in that moment. And it was just perfect. It was literally so good. I'm so happy. Like, if you've been around long enough, you know I'm a sucker for familiar relationships being healed. And did I tear up during this moment? Perhaps I did. Perhaps the answer is a resounding yes, and I am not embarrassed about it. And then Peter does end up making it at the end, which is also nice. And like, I definitely have said this before, and I'll also keep saying it, but he is a great person. I love Peter. He's gonna be a great dad. Perfect for her. I will never stop saying it. He's perfect for her. Love him. He's gonna be a great dad, and Sugar's gonna be a great mom. And I can't wait for, I'm assuming, next episode. I hope we get to see this dang baby, because we didn't even get to see her have the baby in this episode, which is actually a bit saddening to me. And yeah, that was episode 8. I will see you when I watch episode 9. Okay, bye. Let's just jump right into episode 9. No small talk. Here we go. So Marcus is trying to make some magic. I think he's trying to come up with like a new dish, something like innovative, different. I remember there was one episode he mentioned like wanting to do something with like a flower, violet. His mom likes it, so I think that's what he's trying to cook up right now. Something innovative, something cool, something fresh, something magical, which I'm here for. And yeah, good for you, Marcus. Keep it pushing. Honestly, he's just so like creative. Like, we should tap more into like Marcus's like creative process and like see him like working through things, because he's just a creative boy. Keep it up. I love it. So next we see some reviews are starting to roll in, both good and bad, but I don't think it's the review that we're waiting for, like the review like from the Tribune. That's not come out yet, but there's some other ones starting to like roll in. And honestly, during this whole moment, like where we're seeing the reviews starting to come in, it's like kind of like a montagey thing. So like it's just like little like flashes of the reviews coming up, and it's happening so fast I can barely read those headlines. So I saw some stuff that was like the worst dining experience I ever had, and the other stuff where it's like, oh, this is so good, like the bear is so great, blah blah blah. So it's giving like mixed vibes. Like I said, it's not like the review that we're waiting for, so these kind of, I guess, don't fully truly matter. I don't know. I'm guessing like the Tribune is like the end-all be-all when it comes to reviews and critiques or whatever. I don't know. I don't live in Chicago. I'm sorry about it. Also, during this like montagey review-ish moment, it's like during service and stuff, so like we kind of see like Carmi just like spiraling. Like Carmi's definitely spiraling, and I think everybody can see that, but like nobody's pulling him to the side and being like, hey dude, you're spiraling. Like let's maybe, you know, like you're kind of going a little crazy right now, let's chill, but nobody's doing that. And then we move into after service, after the cleaning and everything, and it's just Sid and Carmi in the kitchen, whatever, and Sid's about to tell him about the opportunity that she got with like Adam, like the whole like job offer thing, but then she chickens out, doesn't do it at the last second. And honestly, during that whole moment, I really thought she was about to do it, and I was actually so scared to see it happen, but then she didn't do it. And at the same time I was like, phew, thank you, but then also I'm like, come on, we need to do this at some point, so let's just get it over with, you know? And then also during that conversation, Carmi invites her to the Ever funeral, like the Ever restaurant funeral service thing. At first she's like hesitant, like no, like I don't think I should be there, and he's like no, like you should. And then I think it ended with her being like, okay, yeah, I'll come. And it's happening tomorrow, and I'm very interested to see like what that vibe is gonna be, because the Adam guy is also gonna be there, because obviously he worked at the restaurant. So I wonder if there's gonna be like a him Carmi moment where he's talking about the situation with Sid, because like I said, she still hasn't even said it to Carmi yet. This whole situation just seems like it's gonna be a bit of a mess, and I'm both excited and nervous and scared to see it. Yes. Okay, and then some other things happen, but more importantly, we find out from Uncle Cicero that if the Tribune gives the restaurant a bad review, he's going to pull the plug on the whole restaurant. It's getting shut down, it's over, it's donezo, boom. But that's kind of only a half truth, because right after that moment, when he's talking to Carmi, he then is getting into his car to leave, and like the computer guy is there, and we find out that basically Unky lost all of his money, so it's looking like no matter what the review says, the restaurant's going to be donezo, which is awesome, which is great. I'm scared. I have no idea. Like I've said this 1,000 times at this point, but like I have no idea where we're going. I'm excited to see what happens, but I'm stressed and a bit confused, and I kind of like that we don't know exactly where things are going and how things are gonna like play out, pan out, but still stressful, man. Like dang, I don't know. And then things start looking up, because we get a sweet little moment between Ritchie and Tiffany at the park with Ava. They're just talking, gabbing. They're literally both great parents, and I love them both, and honestly their relationship gives like such like bittersweet vibes to me. Like it just feels so bittersweet bittersweet. And maybe that's just because I love happy endings and I love happy reconciliations between people. Maybe that's why it feels bittersweet to me. But I don't know. I just want everybody to be happy. And it looks like they're both happy, and it looks like they're both in good places. Even though it's not together, it doesn't mean that it's not a good place. I think it's just the hopeless romantic in me that's like, come on guys, just be together. When it's like, no, they probably shouldn't be together, and they're both okay not being together. They're both good parents. They're both good co-parents. They both look like they have a really good relationship now, friendship wise and everything. Like, she literally still considers him her family. She literally was like, you're kind of my only family. Like, I really want you at the wedding, blah 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 blah. I think it's just me that wants them to be together, and I'm trying to be like, it's okay that they're not. Like, they probably shouldn't be. They probably work better this way. So yeah, but it still feels bittersweet to me. It still feels bittersweet. Sorry to say it. Next we get a Sid x Pete moment. She goes over to the house to like give some food for like them and the baby, whatever. Honestly, didn't expect it. Like I said, I love when an unlikely duo moment happens. It just warms something in my heart when people that never talk to each other talk to each other. It's cool, it's fun. Peter mentions that he read the contract and stuff, and like he's like kind of goes through like some of the aspects of it, you know, good salary, you'll get insurance after XYZ time, blah 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 blah, etc. And the whole time she's kind of like weird about it, but she's trying to like hide it and whatever. But there was like one moment where I was like, oh my god, is she about to like tell him how she's been feeling about this whole thing? Like, is she about to like admit it to Peter of all people? And honestly, if that did happen, I would have been both surprised and not surprised. Surprised for like obvious reasons, like Peter, you guys don't even talk, how's this about to be the guy that you're about to divulge all this information to? But then also not surprised because it's like the same vibe of like Mikey and Tina, the first conversation they ever had, where it was just like very honest, like stranger to stranger talk. Like I said before, when that Mikey and Tina conversation happened, it can be easier to tell your deepest, darkest secrets or what's going on in your brain to someone that isn't really attached to the situation rather than someone who is kind of a part of it. So it could have made sense for her to, you know, divulge how she's been feeling to Pete, because he's a part of the situation, but he's like kind of like far off, you know. He's Peter. He's not fully involved in the restaurant. He's there. He's there. He's there at the end of the day. And I mean that in the nicest way possible. I love you, Peter. I love you, Pete. Like, you're there. And he'll always be there. So yeah, but at the end of the day, she did not divulge any information to him. I said all that for nothing, but like I said, if she had said something, I would have gotten it. It would have made sense to me. Went on a random tangent, probably for no reason. It's fine. Anyway though, I thought we were going to see Nat and the baby in this moment, but we didn't. Very sad. I still don't even know the baby's name. Also very sad. But later, more towards the end of the episode, we do see Nat like just watching the baby in the crib and just like smiling. And then she takes a picture and sends it to her mom. And like that's such like a small, simple little gesture, but it obviously just says so much between them and like how they are really getting into a place where like they're trying to heal their relationship. Everything that happened in that last episode, we're still building on that, which is great and awesome. And then finally, overall throughout the whole episode, we kind of got like little teases of like Carmi maybe going to say something to Claire, maybe going to apologize, maybe finally going to have the much needed conversation that those two need to have. Maybe like he was going to initiate that, whatever. But at the end of the day, ultimately he does not do any of that. There's a moment like he's about to call, he's in the fridge and he's about to call her, but then he doesn't, etc. We have a bunch of little moments like that pretty much throughout this episode. And honestly, I don't know if a conversation is ever going to happen between them or if an apology is ever going to come from him, because it just seems like obviously he cares. It's very obvious he cares. It's very obvious that he still loves her. But then it's like as the time keeps passing, it's just gonna get harder and harder to go back and revisit that past situation that truly needs to be revisited. As more time passes, it's just harder to look back. But he does keep looking back, but it just becomes harder to say what needs to be said, you know? But maybe finally we'll get a conversation in this last episode, episode 10. But knowing Carmi though, my hopes are very minimal for that happening. Yeah. Honestly, I feel like if a conversation was going to happen between the two of them, it would have to be Claire, like, coming to him and, like, kind of forcing the conversation to happen, which she should not have to do because she was the one that was, like, wronged in the situation, so he's the one that needs to go to her first. But knowing Carmi, is he ever gonna do that? Signs point to no, but we can always hope for character growth in TV shows. So, yeah. Maybe last episode we will actually get something good there. We'll see. I don't know. Okay. But I also want to say, like, especially because of all the things going on in his life right now, the restaurant and all the stress that comes along with that, I can imagine it would be very easy for him to, like, he's still thinking about her every day, but it's easy to, like, push that away, push the thought of having the conversation with her away, because he's like, oh, I need to, you know, worry about something with the restaurant, worry about making this menu, worry about us making money, worry about cooking, blah, 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 blah. So I feel like it's very easy to, like, push the conversation, like, oh, push that to the side. I don't need to have this conversation right now. I don't need to have this apology right now because there's so many other issues issues going on in his life. So yeah, sad, but just the truth. I don't know. Like I said, if the conversation's gonna happen, I feel like it's gonna have to be Claire to like bring it to the table, which she should not have to do. She shouldn't have to do that. Anyway, honestly, going into this last episode, I'm kind of like scared. I saw already it's only 40 minutes, so that's great, but it just feels like there's still like a lot of, maybe not a lot, but there's still a fair amount of unresolved issues, and I don't know how we're going to address those issues and solve them all in one episode. So that's cool. Issue number 1, the whole Sid situation. She has to say that to him, and then also it has to be like decided on. Then the review, we have to see what the review is, and then still the restaurant still might get shut down because Unky Cicero doesn't have any money anymore. Great. And then the Claire situation, we have to start that conversation, and then is one conversation even enough to solve that issue, to solve that whole thing? Probably not. I think they need to have many conversations. We have a lot of little things going on, and will it be wrapped up in a pretty little bow at the end of episode 10? At the end of the season? I don't know. Nothing more to say except see you after I watch episode 10. See you after I watch the season finale of The Bear season 3, baby. Bye for now.
Dressed like Sid. You look nice.
Hello, the time has now come for us to talk about the final episode of season 3 of The Bear. Wearing my white button down, the sleeves rolled up for obvious reasons. Wish I had my blue apron. I didn't feel like buying another one from Amazon just for this bit, so we're not doing that again. Let's just talk about episode 10, baby, the final episode of this season. Sadly, very sadly. The first thing that I need to say is that every single open-ended storyline that I had previously stated I hoped would be resolved or like somewhat solved in this last episode was literally not at all resolved, and it was also, they were also kind of barely even discussed this episode. Woo! So Sid did not tell Carmi about this job opportunity thing. Carmi and Claire did not have any sort of conversation in this episode, and we also did not get to see what the freaking Tribune review says, which is awesome, which is great. Okay, now that I got that out of the way, let's talk about the stuff that did actually happen in this episode. Okay, here we go. So basically this whole episode is just the funeral restaurant service at the Ever restaurant, Olivia Colman's restaurant. We see actual real life chefs, and Will Poulter, hi, how are you? How you doing? Love him, hey. And we see them at this like funeral service thing, and mainly we're at Carmi and Sid's table throughout this whole night, and it's just like all the chefs like giving like their little like personal stories, anecdotes, which is actually cute. If I was actually into chefs and like cooking, whatever, this moment would have been like so big for me. Like actually. So for people that do like chefs and are actually into that type of vibe, I bet this episode was like a dream for them. But these like little personal story anecdote moments are interspersed with some flashback moments from like this season stuff, past season stuff, like specific things that a chef was saying about like, hey, this happened to me, or hey, this little moment happened. If it could relate to something that had happened in the show previously, they would like do a little flashback moment of that, which was cool. I like how their real stories were like brought into the vibe of the show. It wasn't just them saying their stories and stuff, we were also connecting that to the storyline that we have set up in the show. So kind of cool, kind of fun. I liked it. At one point, more towards the end of dinner-ish, I don't know, at some point during this night, Carmi has a convo with the evil chef. I have no idea what his name is. Already forgot that guy's name, but you know, the guy from Community. I don't even know his real name, I can't even think of it. But yeah, Carmi has a convo with him. Very like, I'm surprised he was so like honest.
Why are you such a fucking asshole?
How am I an asshole?
Do you have half an hour?
You're welcome.
I'm welcome? For what?
You were an okay chef when you started with me. And you left an excellent chef. So you're welcome.
You gave me ulcers. And panic attacks and nightmares. You know that, right? Do you understand that?
Yeah, I gave you confidence and leadership and ability. It fucking worked.
I'm fucking stunned right now.
Dude, You need to unclutch your pearls.
So then the guy eventually leaves. He's like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, bye. And Carmi is just like in disbelief that that conversation actually happened and that this guy is like genuinely the worst person ever and literally a jerk and horrible. And then Carmi starts laughing a bit. And the way I interpreted that moment was I think he was just finally realizing like none of that matters in a way, or like he definitely should stop wasting his time thinking about that guy or like having that guy literally live in his head rent free, because that guy sucks and he will always suck. Like nothing about that guy should matter to Carmi. So I feel like that's what he was like kind of finally realizing that moment. Honestly though, like tell me what you guys thought about that scene. I'd love to hear a think piece about that, because like that's how I saw it. I could also maybe see it in other ways that I can't like verbalize right now. So if you saw it in a different way, tell me what you thought. Thank you. But say it nicely, please. Don't be mean. Don't be mean to me, please. I'm sensitive. I'm a sensitive girl. Please don't be mean to me. Anyway, on to the next thing. Please, I'm begging and pleading to whoever is in charge on the show, Christopher Storer, please, keep Will Poulter's character around. Begging, pleading, crying for it. Luca, please keep him around. Get him to work with Marcus for a little bit. I don't know. Just keep that guy around. I love him. I love the moment that him and Sid had, like post dinner, like it's sitting in the kitchen or whatever. Like he was drinking water, she was drinking wine. They were like talking about like family stuff, siblings, relationships randomly. He said he's gonna be around for a few months, so he needs to be around in The Bear season 4 in the kitchen with Sydney, with Marcus, with Carmi. Please, and thank you. But no, like I actually love him and I actually love his character and I would actually love to see him around more, please and thank you. I'm not gonna read into any of the little moments he and Sid have. We're not gonna talk about that. I refuse to talk about that. I refuse to be delusional, but I do hope to see some edits of them. I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding at all, actually. But I'm not gonna talk about that anymore. We're gonna move on now. The party at the end of the night at Sid's apartment was so special to me. That whole moment, I was smiling the whole time. I loved it. The chefs coming together, Tina and Marcus pulling up, the facts pulling up, everybody being there. Like, it was such a little vibe. The only person that literally wasn't there was Carmi, because he was like roaming the streets. We'll talk about him in a second. But that was really special to me. I love that moment at the party. But then there's something that happens at the party. She's like going into her fridge. Then she sees like the review. I think it's like a really old review. It's like a review of the beef. She has like a little cutout of it pinned on her fridge, and like she sees it, and then like she suddenly like starts having a panic attack. She literally leaves her apartment and is like, oh, I'm gonna go out and get something real quick, guys, like I'll be right back. Close the door, and like she starts having a panic attack on her floor. And honestly, I want to give Sid a hug. I want to tell her that everything's gonna be okay and everything's gonna be fine. At this point, it's giving like she really does want to do the opportunity with the Adam guy, like have the opportunity to do her own thing. But then at the same time, it's like all these relationships that she developed at the Bear with Carmi, with Sugar, with Marcus, Tina, literally every single person there, Ritchie, everybody. Like I feel like she doesn't want to leave that, which is completely valid. But then at the same time, like I said before, like she's feeling a little underappreciated. She's feeling like this is more Carmi's spot than it's like their spot together. So like maybe she wants to go on and do her own thing. I completely get that. And I stand with whatever she decides to do, but I'm just very sad. I'm like, please, I just want to hug you. Everything's gonna be okay. Whatever you decide, I love you. You're okay. I'm scared for you. Honestly, I get why she's like having a panic attack and crying, because like that is a stressful situation to be in. Like I'm hurting for her personally. Like it's actually, I'm like, I don't know what I would do in that situation. So her not knowing what she's doing, completely valid, completely same, completely true. And that's all I'm gonna say on that. Next, Carmi, as I mentioned before, he's not at the party. He's just like roaming the mean streets of Chicago. For a moment, I thought he was gonna like go to Claire or something. He does not do that. It's Carmi. Why did I ever expect him to be honest and talk about his feelings and have the Claire conversation? Why would I ever expect Carmi to do that? Maybe though, I could maybe see it happening now. Like literally after he had that conversation with the chef guy, he was like very honest about it and just like super like laying it all out there. Then I was like, okay, wait, maybe there could be a Claire moment where he's honest and like just bearing his soul to her too. There wasn't, but now maybe there could be next season. Hopes still very low, expectations low, but maybe it could happen. Anyway though, he's roaming the main streets of Chicago. His phone starts pinging. We see that he has a bunch of missed calls from Unky Cicero, some missed calls from Computer Guy, and then there's also notification that the Tribune Bear review has finally come out. Do we get to read it? No, I already said that. We don't get to see what it is. And then the next thing that happens is the worst thing that I've ever seen. We cut to a to be continued screen. That's how the season ended. I love this show. I love it so much. Anyway, Christopher Storer, run me season 4 right now, please and thank you. I've been chronically offline as I've been watching the season, so I don't know what the people's vibes are, what season 4 vibes are, what has been said, but I think I saw like one small little thing where it was like Bear 2025, season 4 2025. Don't do that to me, please don't do that to me. Because if streets were true and if they did film season 3 and 4 back to back, why are we waiting? Like, at least give it to me in winter, give it to me in fall, give it to me like this year, just like the end of this year, which at that point people will be like, well, that's basically 2025. No, it's not. If it's October, if it's November, if it's December, that's only like a few months away. I could hold off for that. But then if you're like saying like 2025, then we're going into January, February, March, no, that's so many months away. Please don't do it to me. Yes, it's only a few months difference from like October, November, December, but it just feels too long. It feels too much. Don't do that. Don't do that to me, please, Christopher Storer, please, whoever's in charge. No, please. Anyway though, since I just finished watching it, I want to kind of let it sit for a bit, let the season sit with me for a bit before I talk about how I felt about it as, you know, as a whole. So I think I'm gonna let future editing me at the end of editing this whole video what am I saying? Cut to future editing me to talk about my full thoughts on this season, because that'll be like in a week or two, me finishing editing this, so that'll be more than enough time for me to have my thoughts in order. So cut to her now. Bye. Have fun, girl. Good luck. Hello, here's editing me here weeks after I filmed that clip. That thing. Weeks after that, here to talk about my final thoughts of The Bear season 3. I'm going to attempt to keep this as short and sweet as possible, courtesy by Sabrina Carpenter, because like I've been editing this forever. I just want to get this video up. I just want to be done with it. I don't want to talk about The Bear anymore. I never thought I'd say those words, but I don't want to talk about The Bear anymore. I'm tired, man. I'm tired. Anyway though, here are my final thoughts about this season. Is the lighting weird? Yeah, that's a bit better. That's a bit-ish better. Okay. So the first thing I want to say is I was technically wrong. They did not film season 4 with season 3. Apparently, they filmed a little bit or like half of season 4 while they were filming season 3, but season 4 is not finished, and apparently, allegedly, they are supposed to film the rest of it next year. So I'm doing great after hearing that news. I'm doing great after searching for that news, finding that answer. Here we are now, me filming this and feeling a bit sad about that. Anyway though, now that I've had time to sit with it, I think overall season 3 definitely felt like a setup for whatever season 4 is going to be, and I hope it like pays off in that way, because if season 3 was not really a setup for season 4, then it does feel as if the season was kind of just like a filler vibe. Like if we actually don't answer any of the open-ended stuff we have set up in season 3, then it'll be like, what the heck, what was the point of season 3? So I truly believe in my heart of hearts, Christopher Storer, you know, everybody in charge of that show will answer those open-ended storylines and plots that we have going on, because I believe in them. And yeah, but overall though, I did like season 3. I see like little edits these days and I'm just like, oh my gosh, yeah, that episode was so funny. I want to rewatch it sometimes. I haven't rewatched it since I watched it, and since I've been editing this, I'm like kind of rewatching some small parts of it as I've been editing and like inserting clips and whatever. Yeah, I think overall it's a strong season, contrary to popular belief, contrary to what the streets have been saying, and people have been like, it's not a good season, it's just very much filler content, very slow paced, etc, etc. But I don't know, I just keep going back to the thought of like, that's just The Bear though. I wouldn't necessarily consider it like slow paced this season. I just felt like we were just diving into specific character moments, and also like I said, we were like setting up a lot of plot lines, setting up a lot of storylines that were not solved, but they were definitely like set up to their max. Honestly, like the way we were dragging some of these storylines, it's just like, well, why didn't we get the payoff of like finding out how it ends? That's probably my only qualm with this season, is that we just kind of like set up a bunch of stuff to be solved in the next season, hopefully, and that's kind of annoying. But at the same time, I do like how the show does take time to really develop things and build and like really show you what a character is feeling, like what's going on in their brain and all that stuff. Like the Sid thing was played out throughout this whole season, and I feel like we're very clearly know what's going on and what's happening in her brain with that whole storyline going on with her, and I hope we can have it figured out next season. I will keep saying that, like that's the only thing I can say. I think everything I hope will be solved next season, because nothing was solved this season. And you know what, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, wait, that is kind of annoying. But don't get me wrong though, I did actually like this season, and it honestly just felt very like Bear coded. It felt more reminiscent of season 2 rather than season 1. but I think it was good. Overall, the fact that they do kind of like take their time and like really develop things and like put a lot of thought into the development of plot lines and storylines, etc., it just shows how much they care about the characters and how much they care about the story. It just stinks that there wasn't more episodes, I guess, or that this whole season felt like it's just setting up something else and now we're gonna wait for that something else. But yeah, I don't know what else to say, and if this like summary excerpt of my thoughts feels very like lackluster and stupid, I'm sorry about that, but I hope everything else that I said throughout this whole video makes up for it. Makes up for my lack of thoughts right now. And if we're thinking like, oh, was this season as strong as season 1, as strong as season 2? Was this season better than season 1, season 2, whatever? I don't know, there's something about The Bear that it just feels like it's not a show where you could like be like, I like this season, then this season, then this season. Like I feel like they just all work together so seamlessly that it's hard to be like, here's my ranking, season 2, season 1, season 3, like that kind of vibe. It just feels like it's all so connected and intermingled, like it's one story together. So I don't know, I'm tired of talking, I'm tired of editing this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let's turn the comment section into a nice little like Reddit post and let's just talk and gab about season 3. Even though it's almost been a month since season 3 has come out, maybe your thoughts are still fresh in your brain, so let's talk about it all in the comments below. See you later for something else that's coming eventually. I'm trying not to take so long to post videos, but when videos turn out to be hours long and like lots and lots of minutes of content to get through, because I love just making things hard for myself and doing big talkabouts of TV shows and stuff and movies, whatever. So yeah, I just love making things complicated, so then it takes a long time to edit, and then videos come out once a month. I'm just talking, I'm saying nothing. We're gonna go. I should go now. Thank you for watching. See you guys in the next thing. Let's talk in the comments below about The Bear season 3. Can't wait for season 4. Now I'm sad that season 4 is probably not gonna come out till literally this time next year, but it's fine. Is it fine? Not really. Thank you. Bye now.